We are.
Author Andrew Reynolds, who's written a new book of essays called Uncle of the Year. It's very, very funny.
And since the books ending on Broadway, we're going to put Andrew to the test in a game we call Don't Look Back. And of course, Donna is our host.
Yes. Okay. We have some background music, some background noise coming from here. So I'm just going to mute it for now. And then if you have any questions, you'll let us know. I'm going to try something else, which is I'm going to change my view to speaker view. And then we'll see if, no, that doesn't work. How can I, there we go. And let's see if this changes the way the recording comes out. So we're going to share our screen and we're going to jump right in. Is everyone good with that?
Yes.
Esther, I've muted you with some background noise. If there's anything, if the noise is stopped or if there's anything that you'd like to ask or raise your hand, please feel free to unmute yourself. So, and here we are, where we finished off last week, is that we have two opinions. Opinion number one is that we say in the evening, first the Shema, and then the silent prayer, which I did not send you the links. I was supposed to send you the links. I didn't send them because I didn't have a good link that I wanted. I'm still working on finding a good link. The other opinion is that first you say the Shema, and then you say first you say the evening prayer, the Shemona Esrei, the silent Amidah, the silent prayer, and afterwards you say Shema before you go to sleep. And we discussed at length last week the reason for the two explanations. We finished off last week with a question, which is if the reason for saying Shema before we say the evening prayer is because you're supposed to have the blessing that follows the Shema, which talks about redemption, right before you say the evening prayer. There's a problem because in the evening we say another prayer afterwards, which is lie us down in peace, and that prayer is said. When is that prayer said? After after that prayer is said after the prayer of redemption. So in the evening, what we're doing is we're saying first we say the two blessings before Shema, then we say the Shema, then we say the blessing of redemption, then we say the blessing lay us down in peace, and after that we say the Shemona Esrei, the silent prayer. So we're anyways not putting the redemption blessing right before the Shemona Esrei. So then what's the difference if you say Shema before or if you say Shema after? So here's the answer. Let's wait just a moment. Steve is jumping in right now, I believe. Zalman, are you able to hear us? Zalman is on mute.
Yeah, no,
Zalman?
okay, I can hear you now.
Okay, perfect. So we're up to the answer. The question we left off with last week is if you're saying the Shema and its blessings before you say Shemona Esrei in the evening, then you have an interruption between the blessing of redemption and the Shemona Esrei, because we have two blessings after the evening Shema. The first one is the blessing of redemption. The second one is a blessing, asking Hashem to lay us down in peace. So we have anyways an interruption between the redemption and the Shemona Esrei, the prayer, the silent prayer. So what difference does it make if we have the Shema before or after? So they say in response, are you able to see my screen highlighted?
Yes.
Yeah.
They say in response, is this big enough? Okay, great. They say, is everyone able to hear me?
You're going in and out.
I'm going in and out. I have to
And there's
complain
like a big echo.
about the internet. Sorry?
There's like an echo, like you're in a tunnel.
Wait. End process. Okay. Is this any better?
Yep.
Is this better now? Yeah,
Yes.
is better now? Okay, good. So they say in response, this is big enough and good enough, everyone can see the text and hear me?
Yes.
Good. Okay. Since the sages instituted the practice of reciting "Help us lie down," that blessing is a blessing that was added by the sages. It is considered one extended blessing of redemption, and therefore does not constitute an interruption. It's part of the prayers. We're not stopping with a whole new prayer. We're continuing part of the prayers. And the reason why we know that this was for sure the case, that additions to the prayers are considered part of one long prayer, and therefore the blessing "Help us lie down" is considered one extended blessing. It's an extension to the blessing of redemption. It's not a separation between redemption and the silent prayer, because if you fail to say that the sections added by the sages are considered no less significant than the original prayers, then can one juxtapose redemption to prayer even in the morning? If you're going to say that the additions by the sages when the Siddur was canonized, this is an important point. When the Siddur was canonized during the time of the Talmud. So if you are going to say that those additions that came after the original compilation of the Siddur are considered extra, and you're going to say that this blessing "Help us lie down" is considered a separation between the redemption blessing and the silent prayer, then in the morning you don't have the redemption close to the prayer either, because Rabbi Yochanan said, watch this, didn't Rabbi Yochanan say, before every prayer one recites the verse, "Lord, open my lips that my mouth may declare your glory," as a prelude to prayer. And at the end of prayer, afterwards, one recites the verse, "May the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be acceptable before you." Doesn't the verse, "Lord, open my lips," constitute an interruption between redemption and prayer? So in the morning, we also don't have a juxtaposition. We don't have the morning prayer coming right after the blessing of redemption. We say a verse in between, "God, open my lips." Rather, since the sages instituted that one must recite, "Lord, open my lips," it is considered as an extended prayer, not as an interruption. Here too, with regard to the evening prayer, since the sages instituted to recite the blessing "Help us lie down," it is considered as one extended blessing of redemption. So there we have it. Even though we have a second blessing after the blessing of redemption, it's considered one extension of prayer. Good morning, Joan and Susie, if you're there as well, welcome. We're starting a new thing here, and this is going to take us to what I believe Joan said last week. Tangential. Oh, no, not yet. First, we're going to go on a tangent, and then we're going to come back to the final answer. So Rabbi Yochanan had stated that anyone who juxtaposes redemption and prayer is assured a place in the world to come. So now we're going to talk a little bit more about the world to come. Tangential to Rabbi Yochanan's statement that one who juxtaposes redemption and prayer is assured of a place in the world to come, a similar statement is cited. Rabbi Elazar said that Rabbi Avina said, anyone who recites a Psalm of David, which is Psalm 145, 3 times a day, is assured of a place in the world to come. This is commonly known as Ashrei. You may have sang it in Hebrew school. Ashrei Yoshvei Veitecha Od Yehalelucha Sela is a tune that is well known. And if anyone says this Psalm of David 3 times every day, they are assured in a place in the world to come. So in our prayers, we actually have 3 times. We have it twice in the morning prayer, and we begin the afternoon prayer with this psalm. This statement extolling the significance of this particular chapter of Psalms, usually referred to as Ashrei because its recitation is preceded by reciting the verse, "Happy Ashrei are those who dwell in your house, they praise you, Selah," raises the question. So Rabbi Elazar said in the name of Rabbi Avina that anyone who says the Psalm of David, Psalm 145, 3 times a day, is assured a place in the world to come. What is so special about this Psalm 145? By the way, if you want to take a takeaway from today's lesson, take your Psalms and read Psalm 145 3 times every day, and you are assured of a place in the world to come. That's a pretty good deal, isn't it?
I didn't think
This statement.
Judaism was that concerned with a place in the world to come. Isn't it the idea that do well, be righteous in this world, and the next world will pretty much take care of itself? As opposed to Christianity, where everything is designed to shore a place in heaven?
That's a very good question. A very, very, very good question. So there's a few stages in our life. Stage number one is before we came down here, right? When our soul was just under the throne of God, as it were. I'm just going to repeat the question in case that not everyone heard it. We're saying that if you say the Psalm 145 3 times a day, then you get a place in the world to come. Doesn't that sound a little different? I thought Judaism was focused on doing mitzvahs here, and other religions have a focus on what happens after we die. So there's a few sections to what happens in our life, right? We start before we come down here into this world. Then we have the time while we're here in this world. Then we have after we die, and then we have the time of resurrection. That's a brief, dumbed down and watered down overview of the way we live our lives. So the main purpose or the reason why Hashem created the world, and the main purpose of everything, is for the time when Mashiach will come, the time of the resurrection of the dead, where the world will be perfect. Because what did God want? What was God lacking? We could go on a little bit of a tangent over here. God has everything, right? God is a God. The only thing that God doesn't have is failure and hard work. Because God is successful at everything. He doesn't have struggle. He doesn't have challenge. And that's why he created us, because through us, he experiences the challenge. We are the ones who are the challenge. So he created human beings, and he created a world which does not exude and does not have a pungent smell of godliness wherever you turn. In fact, the world is a place which seems to be void of God, to the extent that you can have people who say that there is no God. And in this world, we work hard to reveal godliness within everything. We do more mitzvahs, we learn more Torah, we make this world a godly place. The reward for doing the mitzvahs, yes, we get rewarded in this world, but that's not the true and ultimate reward. The true and ultimate reward for all the mitzvahs that we do is after we die. Or, when Mashiach comes, we won't have to die, so we'll just go straight into the time of reward. So in Judaism, the emphasis is more on being a mensch, doing mitzvahs and learning Torah here. Yet, everybody has something that causes, something that gives them a drive. And so the reward in the world to come, the more we do down here, the higher our place is in the world to come after we die. Then heaven and hell in Christianity. Is everyone able to still hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Good. Heaven and hell in Judaism are very different than heaven and hell in Christianity. In fact,
You're breaking up again.
gave a whole class on it.
You're breaking up again. Rabbi, you're frozen. if you can hear me.
me a message afterwards. I'd be happy to send a link. The Jewish View. Oops. Is this better now? I hear
Oh.
you, but you seem frozen on my end. You see you shuffling back and forth.
You're frozen again, if you can hear me.
I see you moving now. Okay, there we go. Is everyone back? I can hear you.
Yeah.
I'm not sure why this is happening. What if we say L'chaim? If we say L'chaim, will that help? L'chaim?
Chaim.
You fade in and out.
There we go. You heard the L'chaim.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, it's not so okay.
A little holy for drinking. Yeah,
I
frozen
give up.
again.
Frozen again. What about now?
They're in and out.
Is
Now
this
you're frozen.
better now? In and out. And now I'm frozen. How about now? This is so frustrating. Is this any better now?
Maybe if you logged in and
Still
out
nothing.
again. Rabbi, maybe if you logged in and
It
out
seems
again.
to be something with my internet. What happens? I can try that, but there's something else I want to try first. I'm just trying to close all the other applications on my
Yeah, if you
computer.
have too many apps, that
It
could
will
be.
let me. Right. Okay. Let's see what happens now. Does this get us back together?
We're fine with me right now.
Okay.
Are there people using
about
your
everyone else?
internet at the same time?
I don't know. I didn't used to have an issue during the day so much, but
Like, are your
it
children on the
believes
internet,
it
perhaps?
now it's starting.
I say, are your children using the
No,
internet?
I'm in the office.
Oh.
No, I'm in an office building, so it could be that there are other people who are watching YouTube videos instead of doing work. Oh, gewalt. Okay. I see you guys now. Are you guys able to hear me now?
Mhm.
Yes.
Yes, better? Good.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. It sounds like some people are watching YouTube videos instead of doing work in the other offices. Anyways. Okay. So what I was thinking is that, and if you'd like to send me a message, I'll be happy to send you the link to that class. Did I lose everything again?
No, I can still see you.
We can still see you, but your video freezes and your voice goes in and out.
Okay. But can you hear me clearly? Okay, is this any better? Or I'm going to see if I can go.
Sounds better.
Okay, I'm going to switch to phone audio and see if I can do that. Unless, is everyone able to hear me good now?
Right now I
Better.
can.
Yeah, it's
Okay,
better.
perfect. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do this, and if it gets shaky again, I'm gonna join from my phone. I'm gonna join the audio from my phone, and we'll see how that works. So what I was saying is that we gave a class about a year or two ago on the Jewish view of heaven and hell. And if you'd like to send me a message, I'll be happy to send that over. Okay, does everyone see the screen share?
Yes.
Okay, so this statement extolling the significance of this particular chapter of Psalms, usually referred to as Ashrei, raises the question: what is the reason that such significance is ascribed to this particular chapter? Good question. And we're going to build on this question. We're going to build it up nicely. If you say that it's because it is arranged alphabetically, then let us say Psalm 119, which starts, happy are they who are upright in the way that they act, where the alphabetical arrangement appears 8 times. If it's about the fact, if it's such a special Psalm, 145 is such a special Psalm because it goes, it's like an acrostic of the Hebrew alphabet. Well, Psalm 119 is an acrostic like that has every letter 8 times. 8 psukim, 8 verses start with Aleph. The following 8 start with Beis. The following 8 start with Gimel, etc. So how many verses are there in Psalm 119? Who are our mathematicians? How many letters are there in the Hebrew alphabet?
I don't know.
22. There are 22 letters in the Hebrew alphabet. So now tell me how many verses are there in Psalm 119?
22.
So Psalm 119 has the alphabetical arrangement 8 times. Let me see if my calculator is faster than anyone here.
So it's 8 times 22.
Anyone else? Yeah, what's 8 times 22?
8 times 20 is 160. 70, 122, 8 times 2, 16, 100, 8 times 2 is 160, plus Sterling morning. 8 times 2 is 16, 60, 78, 178.
178, almost. She's at 8 times 80.
I haven't had my coffee this morning.
Sorry. Oh,
I haven't
okay.
finished my coffee this morning. I
Eight,
used
so
to
let's
eat
say
fast.
time. So 8 times 10 is 80. 8 times 20 is 160. 8 times 2 is 16. 160 plus 16 is
176.
176. Perfect.
Is that what I said? What did I
That's
say?
probably what you meant.
Oh, okay.
You said 178, or I heard
Oh.
178, I should
Oh.
say.
All right.
Okay.
well,
So you cannot say that the reason is because it has the alphabetical arrangement, because Psalm 119 has the alphabetical arrangement 8 times, so that would be probably a better choice. Is everyone still able to hear me?
Yes.
Good. Okay. So let's look at another possible reason why this Psalm 145 is so important. Rather, if you suggest that this particular chapter is recited because it contains praise for God's provision of sustenance to all of creation, you open your hand and satisfy every living thing with favor, which is verse 16 of Psalm 145. Then let him recite the great Hallel, which is Psalm 136, in which numerous praises are written, including who provides food to all flesh, whose kindness endures forever. If the reason why we're saying Psalm 145 is because it talks about God giving to the creations and providing for us, well, Psalm 136 has a lot more of God for all life. So Psalm 145 has two things that are special about it. Number one is that it is an acrostic of the Hebrew. So if what we're talking about, if the reason why we should say 3 times a day is because of the alphabetical arrangement, which reminds us of the Torah, which is written with the alphabet. So then Psalm 119 seems to be a better choice because it has that 8 times. If what's special about Psalm 145, it talks about God providing for all living beings, well, Psalm 136 does that better. Psalm 136 has multiple for everything. Rather, so here's the answer. The answer is the reason why we don't say Psalm 136 and we don't say Psalm 119. Rather, the choice is Psalm 145. Rather, the reason why Tehillah David, Psalm 145, is accorded preference is because it contains both an alphabetic acrostic as well as mention of God's provision of sustenance to all creation. So take out your Psalms, put a marker by Psalm 145, and try to say it 3 times a day. Additionally, with regard to this psalm, Rabbi Yochanan said, why is there no verse beginning with the letter Nun in Ashrei? So while we said that Psalm 145 has all the letters in an acrostic, it's actually not true. It's missing a letter. It's missing the letter Nun. There is no verse beginning with the letter Nun in Ashrei. Why is that? That is because it contains an allusion to the downfall of the enemies of Israel. So over here is a good time to point out and to mention that very often we will use euphemisms when talking about calamities or bad things that will befall the Jewish people. So we don't want to talk about the downfall of the Jews. So instead we say a downfall of the enemies of the Jews. The letter Nun means no fail, which, and the verse states, the virgin of Israel has fallen and she will rise no more. Abandoned in her land, none will raise her up. From Amos 5:2, which begins with the letter Nun. So because of this verse, Ashrei does not include a verse beginning with the letter Nun because King David did not want to allude to the downfall of the Jews.
What
There
is
is
the
actually,
of Israel?
now that we're talking about this verse which speaks about the downfall, sorry?
What is the Virgin of Israel? I haven't heard that term before. Well,
It's a very good question. The aphorism, that term is referred to as the Jewish people. Sometimes the Jewish people are referred to as a sister of God or a mother or a daughter. The virgin, why are we referring in this verse as a virgin? I don't know. I will look into that and have an answer for you next week, God willing.
I've never heard of that. Should Jews be referred to as sisters or what you said?
Right. So in the scripture, God refers to us as different with different what's the word I'm looking for?
Monikers?
What's a moniker?
The name of something.
I guess. So because it talks about Nafla Loisoisivkum, she has fallen down. So there's actually, we're going to see, there's 2 ways to read this. Are you able to read to see on the right where I'm highlighting?
Yes.
Okay. So we're going to translate this. We're going to see that in Israel, they actually translated it a little bit differently to make it less harsh, this verse. Even though the simple meaning of the verse is that the Jewish people have fallen and will not rise up. So Nafla means she has fallen. Loi means no. Soisif means to continue. Kum, get up. Basulas, the virgin of Yisroel, Israel. So where are we going to put the comma? Either we could say, Nafla loy soisivkum, she has fallen, and she will not continue to rise. Basulas Yisrael, the virgin of Israel. Or we could read it differently. Nafla, she has fallen. Loy soisif, she will not continue to fall. Kum basulas Yisrael, arise, O Virgin of Israel. So either you could read it, she will not continue to rise, or she has fallen and will not continue. Rise, Virgin of Israel. You see the two ways of reading the verse? So in order to ease the harsh meaning of this verse, in the West, in Eretz Yisrael, in Israel, they interpret it with a slight adjustment. She has fallen, but she shall fall no more. Rise, Virgin of Israel. Rav Nachman by Yitzchak adds, even so, even though King David did not want to bring a verse that might allude to the falling of the Jewish people, he went and provided support through divine inspiration. Although King David did not include a verse beginning with the letter Nun, alluding to Israel's downfall, he foresaw the verse that would be written by Amos through divine inspiration. And the very next verse in Psalm 145, which does begin with the letter Samech, which is the letter after Nun, reads, the Lord upholds the fallen and raises up those who are bowed down. So therefore, through divine inspiration, David offered hope and encouragement. Although the Virgin of Israel may have fallen, the Lord upholds the fallen. Now we're going to go on another tangent. I want to see if we can get through this quickly because I want to get back to the Shema and prayer argument and wrap that up. I want to see if we can get through that today. After this discussion of the statement that Rabbi Elazar said in the name of Rabbi Avina, another statement of Rabbi Elazar is cited again, back to where we've seen this already a number of times, where this is the way classroom discussions were. You quoted Rabbi Elazar in the name of Rabbi Avina. I also once heard something that Rabbi Elazar quoted Rabbi Avina as saying. And that's the way that this was all written down in that question-answer conversation style. So Rabbi Elazar bar Avina also said, what was said about the angel Michael is greater than what was said about the angel Gabriel. So Michael is a greater angel than Gabriel. Okay, why? Because about Michael it is written, and one of the seraphim is a level of angels. One of the seraphim flew to me, indicating that with a single flight, the seraph arrived and performed his mission. While regarding Gabriel, it is written, the man Gabriel, whom I had seen at the beginning in a vision, being caused to fly swiftly, approached close to me about the time of the evening offering. So the double language used in the phrase to fly swiftly, mu'af ba'af, which uses two words about flying, indicates that he did not arrive at his destination in a single flight, but rather it took him two flights. Again, these angels are not beings, like white fluffy beings with wings that are actually flying. This is a reference to something spiritual. Angels do not have any form, so take it for the why is the word not coming to me? When the hand of God
Metaphor.
is a metaphor. Thank you. Take it for the metaphor that it is.
I don't understand. It says to fly. Could you go back there, please?
Yes.
Fly swiftly indicates he did not arrive at a single flight, but rather two flights. It seems to me that would be just the opposite. He got it swiftly in one flight. How does he get from two fly swiftly to two flights? Two flights
Very
would
good
take
question.
longer, not swiftly.
This is a very good question. So the to fly swiftly, it doesn't actually say fly swiftly in the verse. So whenever you have a double expression in a verse, that usually implies something. So if it says vayashkem means he woke up. Or let's actually do a different one. The word boker means morning. Sometimes a verse will say baboker, in the morning, and sometimes the verse will say baboker, which means in the morning. What do you think the double expression means? If he says, and he woke up in the morning.
No idea.
So the double expression means that it was early in the morning.
Early, yeah.
Woke up. Sorry?
Okay, but fly swiftly isn't a double
One second.
expression.
We'll get there in a second, Steve. Joan, what did you want to say?
No, I was saying early.
Good. Yeah, that's exactly it. Baboker, the double expression, morning, means early in the morning. So let's look over here at the actual verse. So this is again a good reminder that we always have to go back to the original text. Any translation is by definition a commentary. So we have over here highlighted in the first word, right? So this is mu'af, means flying. Ayin fei is the root word that means flying. So here it says mu'af, flying. And here we have the word flying again. Bia means in. So mu'af means he wants to fly. Bia off, in flight. So literal translation means, are you able to hear me, or did
Yes,
I
yes.
go again?
Now you're out again.
You can hear me.
Back.
Okay. You can still hear me?
Now,
Yes.
now we can't.
You still able to hear me now?
Yes.
Now you can? Okay. Good. Okay, so the word off here means fly. The word off here means fly. The prefix move off means he is being caused to fly. The prefix bia off means in flight. So the literal translation here is mu'af, he was flying, or he was being caused to fly. Be off, in flight. He was being caused to fly in flight.
So the word
So when we're
swiftly is
translating
wrong.
that, because we have, sorry?
So the word swiftly is wrong. Shouldn't be there.
Not it's wrong. The implication of the words is that he was flying swiftly because of the double expression, but it's not a literal translation. Contextually, it's correct, but literally, it's not correct. So we have the word flying twice, which implies that he was flying 2 flights. So it took him 2 jumps to get to where he needed to get. Okay. So to Rabbi Elazar bar Ravina, it is clear that one of the Srafim refers to Michael. And the Gemara asks, from where is it inferred that the one mentioned in the verse is the angel Michael, Michael? Rabbi Yochanan said this is derived through a verbal analogy between the words one and one. Here it is written, and one of the Seraphim flew to me, and there it is written, and behold, Michael, one of the chief ministers to the king, came to my aid. Since the verse from Daniel refers to Michael as one, which Agadic Medrash interprets as the unique one, so too, one of the Seraphs described in Isaiah must also refer to the unique one, which is Michael. So Michael goes with 1 jump, and Gabriel, goes with 2 jumps. So this discussion in the Gemara concludes with the Tosefta that arrives at a hierarchy of angels based on the number of flights required by each to arrive at his destination. It was taught in the Tosefta, Michael is stated above in 1 flight, Gabriel in 2 flights, Elijah the prophet in 4 flights, and the angel of death in 8 flights. During a time of plague, however, when the angel of death seems ubiquitous, he arrives everywhere in 1 flight. So basically, depending on how high the angels are, is how many jumps they have to take to get to their destination. Okay, now here is where we this is what I want to end off with. Rabbi Yehoshua ben Levi said, even though one recited Shema in the synagogue during the prayer, it is a mitzvah to recite it upon his bed in fulfillment of the verse. when you lie down. So when you lie down does refer to a time in the evening when we're supposed to say Shema, when we go to the synagogue and we say our evening prayers and we say the blessings of Shema and we say the Shema and the blessings after Shema and the Shemona Esrei, the silent prayer. But even after all that, you came home, you had supper, you had your shower, you're ready for bed, you're ready to lie down. Once you're lying down in your bed, recite the
say the
Shema
Shema.
again. Rabbi Yossi said, what verse alludes to the fact that one must recite Shema in the evening upon his bed as well? Because the verse says in Psalms, tremble and do not sin. Say to your heart upon your bed and be still, Selah. This is understood to mean recite the Shema, about which it is written on your hearts, upon your bed, and then afterwards be still and sleep. So now we have everything and all the opinions together, like Joan mentioned last week. We have the Shema before the Shemona Esrei, we have the Shema after the Shemona Esrei, we have Shema right before we go to sleep. And don't forget to put on your sunscreen when you go to the beach. Yes, Joan?
I thought too that we're supposed to say Shema standing up.
Oh, very good. We're going to get there. We're going to get there. You're right.
So-
100%. We're going to get there.
Oh,
We're going to get there.
so I guess both times. You
We're
could
going to
say
get
it's-
there. This is a long conversation. It might take us. Yeah, let's not get into it yet. Well, we will cover that. It's a very good question. Okay, we covered a lot today. We went through many discussions. It's 11:15. Thank you for joining. Thank you, Rachalea. Thank you, Bela Esther. Thank you, Zalman. Thank you, Joan. Thank you. Is Susie there still also?
No,
No.
she left,
Okay.
yeah. And she had an appointment today too, so she couldn't. She's not here though, she's back in South Carolina.
She's back in South Carolina. Okay, well, Joan, you know how to send her the link. We would love to see her.
She doesn't have Zoom.
Thank you. Okay.
Yeah. Her phone is low.
There's a way to call in. There's a way to call in on the phone where we won't be able to see, but she'll be able to hear us. We'll be able to hear her. Okay. Wishing you a very happy week, a very healthy week. God willing. See you next week. Same time, same place.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Rabbi.
Thank you,
Everyone
Rabbi.
too.
Thank you
All
all.
right. Good night.
Thank you. Take care. How do I stop share over here?